morning. I'm wearing my bihad today, my tribble. Just because it's there and it's not being worn and I don't want it to feel lonely. It's a little scrunchy thing that has hair on it. Okay, so you're talking about what now? You want to keep the case, but you want to not put it in the case because you want to keep it charged? So use the case for something else, or use the case, put the case away in case you need to, you need to. Okay, it is New Year's Eve. Oh, hang on, New Year's Eve. Hold on. And there you go, New Year's Eve.
There she is, my queen. My
I'm an evil queen.
Is that a queen or is that a princess?
I prefer princess.
Princess. Yeah.
The queen has gone. The queen is my mom. The queen is Grandma Kraft. And then I'd say funny. This weird thing is so funny.
The word queen makes you sound older than if you say princess. It keeps.
I'm a princess.
Princess, there you are.
No, I'm not.
There you go.
I'm an evil princess.
I feel like one too when I put that on.
Takes care of chickens. Do what?
I said I feel like one too when I put that on.
You need like a top hat.
I do. Yeah.
Or a.
I don't know what would I could I consider a.
You need a
duke.
One of those powdered wigs. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
A powdered wig. Just powder in my hair and just like,
no.
No.
You could do a. I don't know. You need a party hat though. Do you have a party hat?
No.
Do you have any kind of weird hat?
No.
Not your Christmas one.
No. I just stopped by the dollar store and picked one up.
I was gonna do that. I was gonna pick up dollar stuff, like little horn cut type thing. But then I thought, we'll probably be asleep by then. I'll be like, all right, it's 9 o'clock.
Well,
my bedtime now.
We'll wake you up in 3 hours. Right at the fireworks go off.
It's hard. You can't plan anything. Well, for me, I can't plan anything in advance. It's kind of like, well, I don't know. I might see you there. I might not.
Well, it's for New Year's Eve. I even talked to Jay. Said, "Oh, we're going to be staying at home." Going like, it's not that.
It's a big deal this year.
It is a big deal.
It is a big deal this year. That's why I'm wearing my crown.
Oh my God, you got it.
Mary got that for me. Isn't that cool?
That is so cool.
Because we were talking about I never had a tiara. I'm sure I did when I was a child. I probably had a plastic one. But, they say every girl deserves to have a tiara. Mm-hmm. And, those who, some of the kids that came from, better families, I don't know what that deal was.
Let's sit there and enjoy it. I want to
play with it. It's the prerogative of being a princess.
Hey, look at all those diamonds. Look at all those diamonds
on there,
little
too. Fake rhinestones.
Oh, shit. Just say that. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. It's real. No, it's not. Anyway, back when, like when you were little and you would get your communion, I wanted to have one. And I don't think I got one. But then... your first communion,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to think if I even went to that. Anyway, I don't even remember that. And then the debutante balls. I was never invited to debutante ball. No. And I came from a really good family. It's just
maybe you.
I think you had to pay a lot of money.
As I say, maybe you were invited, but your mom didn't tell you.
No. You have to be invited. It was like specific families. Oh. It's kind of like the hierarchy of New Braunfels go. Like, that sounds sad. It's like English tradition that's just carried on forever. The snooty ones get to go, but the ones that are not so wealthy don't get to go. That's sad.
I don't know. So
I mean, we had money. I had nice dresses. My parents could have afforded it.
No, we've played a couple of those.
Yes, you did, and they were snooty. Yeah, but anyway, think it's nice. I think every girl should have. That's why a lot of like the Hispanic culture does the quinceañera, and I think that's awesome. It's kind of like a wedding when they're young. I think it's neat. I think it's beautiful. They have all the kids, I mean, it's like literally like a wedding. They treat her like a princess for a day. I think that's neat.
I did, and I played a DJ one of those.
You did?
I did. It was really.
My crown's falling off because my head is not shaped well enough for it. And I don't know how to wear it. Probably is the case. Just Shanna, just put it around the treble.
There it is, right there. And that's perfect.
Okay, New Year's Eve. We're on the last day of 2019. You know how huge it is to go from 2019 to 2020? You're not going to do that every day.
No, just once.
But that's kind of a neat. It's kind of neat. It's a whole idea. It's kind of a neat feeling of like a fresh new start, even though it's just another day.
Yeah.
But I was
treated like one.
Excuse me, sorry. So I was. I'm about 3 days behind on my chronological reading of my Bible. I will actually finish it in the next couple of weeks. Believe it or not.
Wow.
I've been working on that thing for I don't know how many years. And it was so funny. And then the church is like, we're going to read the Bible in a year. And I was like, okay, well, I'll start over.
Let me finish it first, and then I'll start over.
It's kind of like, well, I will be finishing when we start, so.
Just give me a week. Oh, I'll be good.
But, so I ran across Romans 8. And I loved it. I read it different than I think I've read it before. Anyway, Romans 8. I mean, it might go over the top of some people's head, but it doesn't. It doesn't mind. For some reason, it spoke to me more today than it has before, and I was just like, oh wow, highlight. Can I just highlight the whole thing? So anyway,
You mean the whole chapter?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I just really liked it. I don't know. It was a good day to read it, I suppose. I don't know. Very cool. It was very cool. It's a good day to read it because of Christmas. It's a good thing to read after Christmas because of the gift we're given at Christmas. But anyway,
And it's beautiful outside, too. So.
It is beautiful outside, and the house is not beautiful. Messy. Still messy from Christmas. Just haven't had the energy. But I did wash. How many eggs yesterday did I wash?
About 439 eggs.
439 eggs. That's good. Because we get about 20-something, we get over 2 dozen a day from our lovely girls. And so, yeah, a lot of eggs. And I did the first few without gloves, and then I was like, you're an idiot, get your gloves on. And so then, because the duck eggs, you have to scrub those suckers because they have like a wax coating on them.
Yep.
And the wax coating is literally as if it was dipped in wax, and then you had to like take a scrubber and scrub off the wax. It's because if you don't scrub it off, their bloom, it's not beautiful. It's just a waxy bloom so it comes out,
So once they're nice and freshly washed, I crack them and put them in a souffle.
Yeah, well, I gave him. So what I did was, because he hadn't washed duck eggs in a while, and so what I did, and he doesn't date all of his eggs, but he does. We wash them often, so it's they're always fresh. They're always within just a few weeks. But he hadn't washed the duck eggs in a while, so there was like about 20 that were, when they're super, super fresh, they lay on the bottom. But as when they get like a week old or 2 weeks old, or it's actually, I don't know how long. But anyway, they start to float. That's when you know that your egg is like not as fresh or whatever. Some people like to boil their the ones that float a little bit because they're easier to peel when you boil them. I know too much egg information, but anyway, so he so there was probably about 20 of them that was just slightly turned up, like they were going to float. And so I was like, well, I'm not, these eggs, let's put these in the bake, because obviously they're older eggs. And I like to like, we sell the fresh stuff and we use whatever's left over. So we do have eggs for sale if anybody's interested.
Yes,
and today is 12/31/2019. Almost all of them are dated, but some of the dates scrubbed off. Sorry. Oops. Okay. But they're that was Greta. They're all within the last few weeks, because like I said, we get 2 dozen a day.
So our little egg bake this morning is a simple bake.
It's brought to you by.
It's welcome.
Our little egg bake this morning is brought to you by
Schwartz's Farm.
Schwartz's Farm.
They should go off within our.
Yeah, but this one doesn't have sausage.
It doesn't have the sausage and stuff in it.
That's cheese, right?
It has the cheese. It
has cheese and eggs and potatoes.
Yes, that sounds good. It's going to be nice and hot and fresh right out of the oven.
Okay, so yesterday I did do 4 necropsies. We ended up with 4 necropsies. My production red, who was the one I did a video of, Sick Chicken, who we worked with for over a week, I think, or a week or something, over a week. I don't know. Anyway, it turned out that when I opened her, she had fluid inside her abdomen. So she probably was injured during breeding. Rocky probably was too hard on her. So I wouldn't have been able to save her. That was I tried. I was feeding her, but no nutrition was going through. And so she had fluid in her abdomen. I couldn't tell where it was coming from. It had to have probably been like a small leak or something. It wasn't the color of anything that I was seeing. So it was, just so one of those things. So it was, she probably was injured when Rocky's a big boy. He's a good, he got me yesterday. He bit me yesterday. So I picked his little ass up. Excuse my French. And I hung him upside down for a little while and said, "Hey, you like this? This is fun. You enjoy this as you flap your wings." And, and so then once he completely just lets go and gives up, submits or whatever, then you flip him over and you take his head and you go, "You bite me again, I'm going to strangle you, little beast." I'm like, I can eat you. I can legally eat you. You're poultry. So, anyway. My husband wouldn't eat it though. If he gets me good, if that boy draws major blood ever, I'll crap pot his ass. But see, he hasn't gotten Bruce. But if he gets Bruce will be like, he needs to go. No, I'm gonna be like, no, let's just eat him.
I'm not gonna get intimidated by him. We're walking there.
I walked in there. I let him out. He came out running, and he popped me in the leg. Bit me. Pecked me.
I don't know what it
inched me in the leg. Shit. Sorry, excuse my French. Oh, 3 curse words.
He's probably still ticked off about that spur incident.
Yeah, well, he should be. He got me before the spur incident, and he popped me in the head, the arm, and
it was you trying to take the secondary spurs out that weren't supposed to come out.
Oh well, I don't care about that. Those were. Well, we didn't know that until I was raised. He is a spoiled brat, so just anyway. Yeah, we had to take his spurs off because he kapowed me with my head in the coop trying to search for eggs. He came up into the coop and karate chopped me. Anyway, okay, one of the other ones, there was another one who, my Polish, I can't keep a Polish alive for nothing. But anyway, this one, she was good one day, and then all of a sudden she's in a corner. And so I got her, and she passed away pretty quickly. And her intestines had ruptured from being bred again. So She had a ruptured intestine. And so there wasn't anything I could have done for her. Then we had we had the one who I thought something, she kept like acting like she was having breathing problems, and I thought it was pox that had blocked something in her windpipe or whatever, and that she ended up having fatty liver, which basically is when they get so much fat. It's just weird. I don't know if they're genetically predisposed for it or what the deal is, because she was not necessarily super fat. I mean, for a traditional bird, she should have had fat, but she had fat over different parts of her body, and then her liver looked like it was affected. Her heart looked like it was affected. Her lungs looked like so. Basically, what she was doing was her heart and stuff was being overworked for her body, and she was having trouble breathing. She looked like there was some stuff going on in there. So anyway, she died of that. And then the little rooster, he just starved to death. He had a lot of grit in his crop, a lot of grit in his stomach, no food. So I don't know what happened with that one. Yeah, he just starved to death. Either somebody just didn't let him eat, or he didn't want to eat. He might have had some coccidiosis because he had veining on his intestines, but he didn't have any blood or anything. So because you're saying let's stop. Her name is not Alexa. Stop. You have to say Alexa.
I don't have
stop.
I don't have the silver. Sorry.
Huh?
I don't have the silver.
No, every time you emphasize the word stop, but not her name. You have to say her name. You have to say her name first. Don't melt my meds. Anyway, y'all heard it. Y'all heard him. She didn't know her name based on what he was doing. He was just screaming at the thing saying, Lexa, stop. Lexa, stop.
Emilio!
Her name is not Lexa. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not Lexa.
It's not Lexa.
So got Greta a bigger litter box. He seems to be a little bit more comfortable with it. I'm trying to. We gave him an aspirin the other day. I wonder how that. I didn't even. We gave him an. Oh, and he slept.
Yeah.
He slept most of the day, I think.
Walking is.
Or. What were you say? Before you watched him walk? His walking has been. No, never mind. As he watched him walk away. So anyway, so got that done. I was grateful to get that done. I set up a whole little work table system here, and got all of that kind of stuff finished. And I'm taking guesses on a lot of the things when I do a necropsy, because you just do the best. You do the best you can based on the information you see. You don't have a microscope to see if they have some sort of bacteria or whatever. Anyway, so but I do still have some birds that are working with. So New Year's resolutions. Y'all gonna make one? Because this is the year to make resolutions.
This is our year.
This is gonna be our year. Okay, so this is Schwartz's potato bake. Potato bake. Let's see how it goes. I'm not sure how it goes. I miss the sausage, but yum. Tastes good. Okay. So what else did we do yesterday?
Did we watch the Avengers?
We did watch the Avengers, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. We watched the last Avengers. It sad. I don't want to run it for you. It was good, but I mean, they worked really, really hard to get, Anyway,
To take care of things.
to try to take care of things. What else did we watch? What else? Oh, I'm still watching Carnival Row. It's getting interesting.
Yeah, it's almost over.
I'm almost done with the first season. It's really good, and he already watched it. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna happen. He says, what? What did you say? Because I'm like guessing it all ahead of time, and I'm pretty accurate too.
And I'm trying not to.
He's trying not to blow it for me. So I have my smart coffee. I do still smell my smart coffee.
Uh-huh.
I do. I do still sell my smart coffee. I just don't. I'm not. There was a lot of things that that changed and stuff, and so it was really hard to get excited about it because. Okay. Sorry, watching Greta walk away. It was really hard to get excited about it because they were changing things so much. I didn't know where we were. So I still use it. I don't use as much of it. I use like a half a thing because they've changed the recipe a bit. I liked the original recipe the best. But it does still really help. It does still give you some focus and energy for the day, get you through, and it does still really do well. There was just a lot of stuff that went on, but anyway, what else? 21 minutes you can't get back. So if you're interested in smart coffee, I do still sell it. So just let me know.
Smart coffee, eggs, whatever it takes.
Yes, we have eggs. I have feathers. I have lots of feathers. If anybody wants feathers for something. I mean, anybody who paints, I have some feathers that are really good for painting. The stiffer ones. And then I have some that are really, short and fluffy and curly and all kinds of different colors and stuff. So let me know. But what else? I think I'm going to take a break for just a minute. I'm going to eat some of this before it gets cold. And then I'll be right back. Okay, so we're sitting here talking about how people are going through different experiences right now. And, when you're going through something, you have a story to tell. And I have a friend of mine who's considering doing a blog. And I did a blog during some of the most difficult parts of my life. And it was really healing because if there was anybody else going through the same thing, I kind of poured out my heart to it and, the good, the bad, and the ugly stuff. Because I thought maybe it might help someone else, and I just think that's a good thing. I hate to give advice. I hate to give advice. I love to give.
Do you like giving advice before somebody asks, or just as a personal thing, or if somebody asks you for advice?
If somebody asks me for advice, I'm always going to say this is my point of reference. Because, yes, okay, if somebody's asking me for advice on something in particular, even when it comes down to chickens, which I'm pretty, getting fairly knowledgeable about.
You're very knowledgeable.
And yet not. I mean, I don't know everything. There's always something to learn.
Just short of getting a degree. You're you're pretty dang smart with it.
And probably I would love to get a degree, except I wouldn't use it, except just to do my own stuff. But I don't like to give advice to people without experiencing what they've experienced in their life. But I do like to tell people my experience because I feel like it might help someone.
Mhm.
Because there's like a lot of times, I have a good friend who's going through divorce, and her experiences are going to be different than anybody else's, but there might be bits and pieces of her experience where she, if she pours out her heart, but you know, the bad thing is sometimes you have to just lay it all out there, and then you don't really want to do that when you're in a divorce or something. I don't know. I kind of did when my parents were divorcing. There was a lot of things I did lay out there. I just dumped it out there because of the, you know, we had some of the typical battling back and forth talk, you know, that kind of with children, when you have two parents that are playing against each other through a kid's head, can do some major damage there. But I love to give people, like, in my perspective, I love to tell them what, you know, some things that maybe I might have done that might have helped or something. But I'm always nervous in giving advice at things. I'm always kind of like, but this is just my.
Well, you're not doing what you need to. This is what you need to do type of thing. You're doing more like suggestions, or just kind of like what worked for me.
Well, some things I'm like, you need to go get a tiara and put it on your head.
I don't have one.
But it's all goofy, silly stuff. But no, and I'm like, you need to think positive, but those are just general, you know, things. But when it gets down to the deep-hearted stuff, and there's a lot of people going through the deep-hearted stuff, you don't know what someone's walked. You don't know their path. You don't know what they've been through. So you really can't give the accurate advice, you know. And you're not only that, but in some cases you're only seeing one side and not the other side. And there may be some thing there, you know. Yeah. And so it's really hard to, you know, I hate to ever give, especially when it comes to divorce and stuff. Like with my parents, it was just kind of like, you're gonna mess up your family, Mom. You're gonna mess up your family, Mom. You're gonna lose your kids. You're gonna mess up your kids. You still willing to do it? Yup.
Yep. There you go. And
so, but that was, you know, like I said, totally different sort of situation. In my case, it was different than a lot of cases. So, anyway, so we were just talking about that. We were talking about, you know, I think blogging is very healthy. Sharing it, depending on, you know, the tricky thing is sharing it. You don't want your kids to read something, or you don't want, you know, you have to kind of be careful. When I did mine, I had to be careful. There's a lot of times I went back and deleted and stuff. But
stuff from what?
When I was going through all the difficult stuff with my parents, and there was like a day that my mom would come by or something, and she would just kind of go off and do something, and I would be upset.
Oh, you mean off your...
And I would blog in my upset state.
Sure.
And then I would type this thing out, and it was just like, you know, and then I would post it and share it or whatever. And then the next morning I'd get up and go, I read that again. And I'd read over it and I'd go, that wasn't necessary. And I'd delete it. And then it was gone. Yeah. Or not gone, you know. But there was a lot of times but it was healthy for me. I journal, I blog, I journal, I do this. And it's good for me because my brain is just so full of stuff. And I'm so just, you know, and sometimes I have to, like, I'll have a problem and I'll sit him down and I'll have to talk it out to him, and then I'll go, oh, got it. You know, and he's only just been sitting there going, because you know me, I talk, and I don't let him talk.
You got to have somebody to listen. I mean, if you have things you want to talk about, and you got to have somebody there has to be a listener.
Yeah.
You know.
But sometimes you can you will bounce things off of me, and then get an aha moment just by saying it out loud.
Yeah. That's true.
You know, and I'll do the same thing. I'll be like, okay, you know, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what am I thinking? Okay, well, what if I did this? And he'd be like, hey, there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I always think it's good. I think if anybody ever asks, should I do a blog or should I do, should I journal or something like that? Yeah. I think it's always good, especially if you're going through something. Whether you should share it or not, that's up to you, because you have to be careful of what you have out there, whether it be friends, family, children, or whatever. You have to just be careful what you post. But yeah, I think it's healthy. I think it's kind of like self-therapy, but I also think that the best thing I ever did was go to a counselor for that full year after my parents' divorce, because that was where someone was able to tell me what to do with what I was feeling, and to tell me that is completely normal. And you know, when I felt horrible about some of the things that were going through my head, she could say, that's completely normal. Or I would tell her this, you know, she would ask questions about past or whatever, and what to me was normal, what to me I considered normal through my life, she would say, you do know that's not normal, right? And I'd be like, no. And she'd be like, that's not normal. That's not, that shouldn't have been said to you. That shouldn't have been done to you. That shouldn't have happened to you. That should not have been exposed to that. And that is why you're here, because that caused this, which caused this, which, you know. And so I really think I went to a Christian counselor through Oakwood, Eva, and she was amazing. And she really kind of just set me. She's not, you know, she's not fluffy with what she says. She's straight out. But I consider myself very teachable.
So why do you think people? Is there a difference between when somebody says, like in the yesterday's going to see a counselor, and then today somebody's saying you recommend seeing a counselor?
I think it's much more accepted now.
But why do you think people don't want to go?
Use as an excuse?
No, don't want to go. Yeah.
A lot of times it's because they think
they're not they don't have a problem.
Okay, one is, well, I don't have a problem. 2 is that they think they're going to go and be told what they don't want to hear. 3 is financial, because depending on where you go, it's expensive. Where I went, it was not. It was very affordable. You know, fear. Just fear. I mean, sometimes it's not for some people. For me, it's not. I can talk to anybody. I was very shy as a child, and feared people hugely. But if there was someone willing to listen to me, I can talk their ear off. And so for me, but it took you years to talk me into going.
Yeah.
It took him years to talk me into going. I mean, he set it all up for me, and it took me years.
I set it up to the point where you actually had to make the call to set up the actual. But
he set he was like, he had all the paperwork ready to go early, but couldn't convince me to go. And And then, but then I think that, but then my mom passed away, and I would have had to have gone again after that. So I think, because then other things happened that I had to deal with. So I think then that going to the counselor when I did was probably the appropriate time.
Mm-hmm.
And I went for a year, and it started like twice a week, and then it went to once a week, and then once every other week for a year.
Yeah.
And so a
There's
year, that's
definitely
a really long time to go to a counselor. Yeah. But it was like a night and day difference on teaching me how to find myself. Because at the time, I was not owned by me. I was owned by a whole lot of other people. And I didn't know it. You know, I was not able to even think for myself in a lot of ways, because it was all already pre-programmed in my head. And so it's been a really long process to get myself unprogrammed. And I'm still working on it. He and I both, we're just like, we're going to just keep working on it, because
we're not unteachable.
No. I want to be teachable. I want to have a teachable mindset. I want to be willing to change. I don't want to be one of those people who think they have it all down. And because I don't. And in fact, that's my whole point of doing these things, is to show you I don't have it all down. I have bad days. I have good days. And he, same thing with him. He and I both, we lay it out there. We tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly with our life, so that you can see our growth, our hopeful growth.
Mm-hmm.
Our hopeful growth.
Hopeful growth. Well, I guess we need to hear from one of our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Polydent Ear Adhesive. You ever lose your ear due to excessive talking? Well, it works right pretty well, when you get it put back on there just right.
Unfortunately, you stick out a little bit.
Yeah, they stick out a little bit. You just can't get them back to their original spots. But
actually, what's funny is you've grown into your ears and your nose.
I have. I think I have. And with this.
My mother used to call him. My mother was not nice about it. She loved him to death, too much. But she used to call him Blade Nose, and
yeah, that wasn't the most popular
asshole.
name. Asshole. But see now.
Excuse my French, but that was her nickname.
I've grown into my chin.
No, you haven't.
Actually, I've made a
You're
chin.
just faking it.
I've made a
He's
chin.
created a chin. He's crafty that way. See, can't ever say my husband's not crafty. I'm creative.
So I wore my cap the other day without a ponytail, but put my hair
through the hole.
But I put my hair through the hole, and at the end of the day, I looked
like a hag.
You have to know Kenny Groman, steel guitar player, who has long hair like that too.
Uh-huh.
And I said, oh my God, I look like Kenny Groman in that picture, in the mirror. And my hair was out, kind of like a mullety type of thing, and it was just all over right here. And I was just like, wow. But it was curly and very, very manly curls.
It was a mess.
It was kind of
his hair is a mess. He never combs it. He takes a shower. He never combs it.
And I'm just too proud to say, honey, can you comb through my hair?
He loves when I comb his hair, but he never combs it. And I'll comb his hair whenever he asks, but I don't know. Like when he usually takes a shower after I've gone to bed or whatever. Sometimes I don't know.
No, usually. I usually.
And I won't touch his hair if he hasn't washed it.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I didn't wash it today. I'm like,
I didn't wash it. There was just too much oil in it.
No, you're a guy. Guys need to wash their hair every day.
Yes,
I've told him that. He doesn't listen.
Well, most guys have their hair that looks just like this. That's all there is. Just a little bit there.
Yeah.
But when you have a whole bunch,
you should wash it.
Do you wash your hair every day?
I wash my hair almost every day. Yes. Yeah.
No, I'm just.
And I'm a girl, and I don't have a job doing lawn care. So
I'm a guy, and I really don't
I'm
have
in the
a
house
jungle.
and my so I'm in the house and I don't have as much oil as you do. You've got more oil in your hair than I do. My hair is real dry. I don't have very oily hair. I actually should not wash my hair as often as I do. My mom used to wash her hair about every 3 days because she had dry hair, real dry skin.
You know, I was watching the video here and thinking that you can watch, depending upon how long you do these, how someone changes from beginning to end, or beginning to point where you're at here. Something like, you know, when I first started maybe sitting with you, my beard was kind of like this probably, and now it's there you go. So just watch the growth, and then you can do one of these
time lapse
things. Right? But I haven't had it go.
It's not going to grow during the filming, and we're not going to put a camera on you 24/7. That would be gross. That
would be. Well, you could do a GoPro. Just put it right up here, and just put it right here.
Have a lot of the.
Oh. Okay. No, stop! It's nasty.
And I'm married to him, folks.
Forever.
Aren't you envious?
No, but I think you know it's like I've done this. Well, I've done it once where I had it
really long, and it just kind of swept one side.
I know. So
it had no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like, and I was like, "Can you do something with that, please?"
So then when I started to,
and then finally I had like my brother or somebody said, "You need to tell Schwartz to do something with that beard."
What is he trying to do? Like, what is this?
Somebody. I don't remember who told me.
Well, it was an ombre too. I had an ombre beard.
No, you didn't have an ombre beard.
Yes, it was.
You didn't intentionally have.
I didn't intentionally have one, but it just, you know, it was still had the color from when I last colored at the bottom. But
see this?
It was an itch.
And that's his favorite word. It's an itch.
It's an itch. It was an itch. That's just how I scratch my itches. I'm not like Napoleon Dynamite who tries to scratch his brain through his. So let's see what this does. Let's just.
Change the subject.
And I'm not going to color it. I'm going to leave it.
Unless your wife says color it.
Well,
hey, can you color your beard? Yeah.
Sure, I'll do it. If she says to color the beard, color the beard. I know she won't ever say to get rid of the white streak here because
the white streak is gone. You broke it. It's broken. It's a bang now.
Oh.
Look, there it is right there. You broke it. You braked it off.
Oh, that's so sad. Well, look at that.
The cool Aerosmith white streak is completely shot to crap.
Well, if I didn't have to wear a cap all the time.
What? Why do you have to wear a cap all the time?
It keeps the sun out of my. It keeps the sun out of my eyes.
Because sunglasses don't work.
They don't work when. Well, they work, but they don't work.
They vibrate off your nose.
No, they.
You need those goggles.
They're good. They're good here. See, they're good.
You need my chicken mask.
Remember you used to
my chicken mask on?
Do that?
What?
I don't think I can even bend that way anymore. Can you?
No, the best is this.
That's a superhero mask right there.
I used to always think I wanted to look like this.
I think we need to.
I used to always think, oh, wouldn't it be cute? Wouldn't I be cute if I looked like this?
Or like this here. This is great. And I think we need to take our medicine now. Before they come and pick us up.
I think I'm cute, except for that one tooth that just doesn't want to do it.
I'm here to save the world. Captain Goon.
Okay, my nose is red.
Wow. I didn't realize my arms would still bend that way. There we go. Needed a little bit of positive reinforcement for this morning.
See, the things that we'll do just to make y'all laugh.
Or to make us laugh like that.
So I hope it gives us an end piece, a picture of that. So I can put that as the. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to click it and put it on there anyway.
Oh, I'd do that. I'm going to do that. It's
okay.
Superheroes.
Pig
woman and I don't know what
Pig woman and mask man. Finger mask man.
Finger mask.
Okay, so today, January 31st, 2019. the last day, and I keep shaking the camera.
Of January
the last
2019.
day.
It's December.
Sorry, December 2019. See, I'm teachable.
This is from 1 year ago today.
So, yeah, last day, the last day, guys. Okay, so what you gonna do tomorrow? Tomorrow's going to be the first day of 2020.
Of a new life for you.
Every day is the first day of your life, of your new life.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if you screw up tomorrow or the next day, or like 3 weeks in, or 11 months and 30 days in.
We are not perfect, and so you're supposed. I mean, you're expected
to make mistakes,
to screw up.
And life is supposed to fall apart. Unfortunately,
it's all in how you deal with it.
Yep. So what we're going to do today, I think he has work. You work?
I do.
So he has work, which is a blessing. Thank you. And I have lots of work that's not necessarily a blessing, but I'm going to treat it as so.
I gotta tell you something real quick. I'll finish this off this story. So I went by and paid some stuff on the property taxes yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I parked the truck and the trailer right on the front on Seguin Street.
Okay.
So there was plenty of room to park the trailer. So I went inside, stood in the express lane. And once I finally got that done, I went outside and I sat in the car and I said, first thing I said when I got in, I said, "Thank you, Lord, for providing us the funds to pay for these taxes." Put my key in the thing and go like.
And that's God saying,
"You're welcome."
You're welcome.
So I was thinking, I'm going like, no, this cannot be happening. So I went and I was thinking like, let me check my oil, because that's the last thing I want to do is have my engine lock up on me. So I checked my oil. There was no oil in the dipstick because there must be a little leak somewhere.
Because you're a dipstick.
Because I'm a dipstick. So I walked down to Napa, got 3 quarts of oil, and put it in. Sat there for a second. Took my screwdriver, went around, opened up the hood, and did the old solenoid trick. Oh crap! So what do you think I did next? Called my son.
You called your son and had him jumpstart you?
Nope. He says, but he asked a few questions, and then he said, well, it's probably just an electrical issue with the battery. So
clean your battery?
No, all I did was I unscrewed it. I just moved them both a little bit.
Clean your battery?
No, but there wasn't dirt. It just wasn't.
Notice how he's not finishing wasn't dirty.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Okay, sorry.
See that? That's my clue.
There you go.
Right there. That is how I have to Sherlock Holmes my husband. Right there. It wasn't dirt. It wasn't that.
No, it wasn't.
It was dirty.
No, because I didn't have my little cleaner, so I had to do it another way.
It's rolling around in my truck door.
Oh, is that where it is? No, I know where
Although
it is.
I'm supposed to have...
You're supposed to have one of yours.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have... Yeah. But
so,
it's rolling around in my truck door.
So
Every time I open it goes...
Then I got into the car.
Then
I got into the car. And it started right on up.
It did?
It did. So I called him and said,
thank God for sons who are mechanics.
So I called him back and I said, thanks. So I said it was right on up there. So now I just have to get me a cleaner to keep in my car.
If you ever have a helicopter, he'll be able to fix that too. Or an F-16, you're set.
My other son can fix that too. Taylor can fix that. And yeah, so that was.
And Justin can manage our money.
That was my story too. See, I was a little upset about it, but I was thinking like, I guess the first thing that went through my mind was,
really?
I said thank you, and this is what I got.
Thank you.
But
really?
But
did you say thank you after that?
I thought I did, but I don't remember. But see, well, what did happen out of it is that I did put oil in the car. So
that probably saved you from burning up your engine.
Could have.
Didn't you have like a low oil gauge, or do you ignore that one now?
No. If you're at a stupidity faulty level, then the light comes on. Just before
the light, probably the check engine light, which is probably permanently on 24/7.
No, it's a little red oil light.
Oh.
It'll go on just before it starts.
And the camera's like shaking all over the place.
And it did that when we drove to Dallas that one day.
Crown is shaking.
When
I have a shaky crown. You can tell it's not meant for my head.
I'm not gonna put it on.
Neither is this tribble.
No.
So
there we go. 50 minutes.
50 minutes. You can never get back. It's actually 50 minutes and
24 seconds.
25, 26, 27.
And the thing is, it's hard to get started sometimes. You were good, but then then we could talk forever.
Meet my tribble.
Ah!
This is the tribble.
Okay.
Tribble.
Hey, when you finish this video, I want to test something too. So
it's like a wig.
I'm out of here, guys.
Okay, sorry.
So let's
do
our.
test what?
Are we gonna do
a freeze frame?
Let's do our last freeze frame for 2019.
Last freeze frame for 2019. I should probably put my crown back
Put it
on.
on.
Let's put it on my haggard little bun.
All right. So you guys have.
Do I need a pitchfork?
No. You guys have a great New Year's, and
No. He has
have
a cup
a
of
fresh.
milk in his hand. Good.
Oh, have a fresh start for 2020. Let it be your best year ever. I think we're going to try to make it our best year.
We are.
So, you get that?
Are we doing a freeze frame?
Yeah, we'll do a freeze frame.
Okay, last freeze frame of... Oh, God.
Here we go.
Last freeze frame of 2019.
Happy
you guys
New
have
Year.
an awesome New Year's Eve.
Bye.
Bye. Don't get that on me. Bye.